So as we've grown, it's been really easy to justify hiring developers and people that build, but it's been really difficult to, um, you know, justify building out testing as a discipline on our team.
Yeah, honestly, Adam,
Um,
you're not the only one who's had those struggles that I've talked to.
yeah, I believe that. So we've got, we do have QA folks that, are doing great work, but they're on our individual IT teams. They're not necessarily working together towards an overall testing strategy and looking at software quality across our organization.
Mm-hmm.
So this year we're focusing a little bit more on that. We're hiring a QA leader right now. We're in the middle of the hiring process.
Oh, that's great.
And we're looking to kind of bring that together, think about it across the department, and then we're also looking to bring in and do more things like test automation, just so we can get more efficient. Because testing has definitely become a bottleneck for us,
right,
in a lot of areas. And we've got a lot of development capability, but you can't test it and test it efficiently. It slows things down.
It does. What are some other systems that are a big focus for you right now?
Sure. Yeah. So the big one is BI, business intelligence. So we have been going through a pretty dramatic transformation at QBP here in our BI space. We've had a BI team for 5 or 6 years. We've had a data warehouse for quite a while, but our IT team has really been in the business of building that data warehouse, but also just building reports. We have people in our business that'll put in a request for a new report, and they're parameterized, so they can put in their date range or their vendor or whatever. But IT was building the report, building the SQL in most cases behind these reports, and it's really been challenging to get people the information they need to make the decisions quickly, when they have to put a request in that, sometimes it can take a month or 2 months to, get that request looked at. And we may not even do it if it doesn't have a clear payback.
Right.
So we've been kind of going down the path of self-service BI over the past probably 2 years, but, we've gotten to the point now where it's having a huge impact on our business. So we've gotten to the point where IT is not as focused on building reports. We're focused now on kind of building the data set and the data warehouse. So we've got the data warehouse that we've built. We're always adding new data sources and new bits of information to the data warehouse so people can report on it. But our focus has now been on kind of building that metadata layer, kind of that layer between the data warehouse and the reports. So we use business objects, BI tools here. So in their speak, it's called a universe. I think it's called something different with every BI platform. But this universe is this layer where we define how these tables are joined, and we'll put friendly names on the field so people know what they are. We've worked with folks in our business on kind of data governance and establishing kind of common definitions of some of these fields. And then now what we do is we provide that universe or that data set to our reporting tools. So we provide the universe or that metadata layer to the reporting tools, and then people have the ability now to build their own reports.
That's great. You're empowering the individual.
Yeah, and it's we started with a small handful of users and just our sales data. And it's grown exponentially, in the last year and a half. I would say we've got, over 100 people in our business that are using this pretty regularly now. And we've been starting to collect case studies of kind of these cool things that have happened because we're not hearing about it as much anymore because people can just do it.
Right.
So it's great. But we don't, a lot of times we don't hear about it.
Yeah,
So.
It's good to hear that impact, see the fruits of all that labor. Has there been any books or even podcasts or anything that have been impactful to you or something that you would recommend to somebody else maybe in your position?
My favorite book of all time, there's a book called Leadership and Self-Deception. Arbinger Institute puts this out. It really kind of transform how I thought about, kind of interactions with different people. So that, that would be my book recommendation that, that I really have gotten a lot out of. There's so many different technology blogs, stuff like that. Kind of my recent favorite, it's a blog called Supply Chain Shaman. It's not necessarily tech focused, but the woman that runs it, she ties together supply chain and technology like really well. And she'll talk about blockchain and, big data and cognitive computing, and then she'll like connect it to the supply chain world. And it's just really cool how she approaches it. And, I like the thought that goes into it. And it's, as we work in a kind of a supply chain focused business, it's been helpful for me to think about things, a little bit more specifically sometimes.
Personally, what tools or products or different sorts of things have you found to help you either, stay organized yourself or manage yourself or your time or just keep things on track for someone in your position?
Yeah, a variety of things, just basic time management and using email and calendar as well. We use Jira here. That's kind of our tool we use for project management and, managing our tickets. And that's really been great. I'm not using it as much anymore for my specific tasks that I work on, but, it really gives me a lot of visibility and kind of oversight into what our teams are doing and what's being asked of us. I'm still like a total data nerd at heart. So I love SQL and writing SQL. So, I still will go back to our data warehouse or our different databases, and people have questions for me, and I'll still get in there and do that from time to time, which is fun. So
what would you say is some of the best advice you've gotten towards your career? Sure.
Yeah, I've definitely learned a lot from a lot of different people. And I've appreciated that. One thing that I can think of offhand, that somebody once told me that, people always like options. And, they like to make the decision or, to be in the position to make the decision. So I use this all the time. If you give somebody a few options, even if one is, kind of your clear choice and, maybe the other ones aren't great, they would much prefer that over you just telling them what the good option is and moving on. So I use that all the time and, give that advice to other people, and it seems to work pretty well.
What would you say is probably the most important characteristic needed in a leader?
I think just kind of open-mindedness and, being open to new ideas and, willing to look at things differently and wanting to always improve. We all know technology always changes, and the best way to do something, 2 years ago is not the best way to do things today. So you really have to be open-minded as a leader, and you really always have to be searching for new ways to get things done, because that's how you're going to get ahead, get your company ahead, and differentiate yourselves.
I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed our conversation, and I can't thank you enough, Adam, for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you. This was definitely fun.
I want to thank Adam for joining me to talk about how to best balance innovation and stability in IT. This week, I need a favor from you, the listener. Take a moment to leave a review on iTunes or at facebook.com/Schmittlist. It helps get the word out about the podcast, which then helps me to source more and more brilliant guests, such as the ones I've been fortunate to have already. Next week, I'll be talking to Jeff Godelf, author of Lean UX and Sense and Respond. It was a great conversation, and I'm really excited to share it with you. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic week.